Superstar. Oh.
Hello and welcome back to Tatum University. It's a love story. And as always, I am here with my lovely, lovely host, my wife, the Dr. AD. And we're so glad to be with you all. And first of all, let us apologize because it's been a long time since we gave y'all some content.
Yeah.
But we have decided today that we was gonna give y'all some content. So here we are in the flesh. Want to say hey to the
Hey guys, hey friends, hey.
but we're back with some more content, and this one is going to be something that's needed in this time because at the end of the day, everybody want to be loved in some type of fashion, shape, or form, and um, so we just want to help the people who want to be loved. To the people who don't want to be loved, God bless you. But with that being said, our topic for today is dating to marry. And this is a good one because I think for most people who get in a relationship, um, I don't think we're direct as we should be about dating, especially when you are dating looking for your significant other. And I and I pulled some of my notes off Google, but I like this definition of dating to marry. Let me read this for y'all. It says dating to marry is a purposeful way of getting to know someone. If you see marriage is a possibility, it involves dating someone you're genuinely interested in and talking about deep topics to determine if there's potential for a long-term relationship. It doesn't necessarily mean you want to marry everybody you date. I want to bag up. It involves dating someone you're genuinely interested in. Now, for the folks who just want to be dating just to be dating, and sometimes, the, and let me say this right here too, for the folks who date with bad intentions, God bless y'all too. But um, in all, you should always be genuine about if you're seeking to date someone. Let a person know your motives, your intentions, and your desires, not only for the relationship, but for them as well. You give us some on this because me personally, I see this happen all the time where people just dive into relationships and they don't talk about the deep things of the relationship, and a lot of times that allow doesn't allow the relationship to flourish. But we want to invite the doctor in on her experience when sometimes you can date a person, but you can leave out the I would say the facts or certain things that you are expecting from the relationship.
Okay, so you want to know my opinion on, or my you want me to elaborate on my dating experience before you, or what do you want me to elaborate on at this
Well, you
moment?
can use yourself. Um, you know,
Um, I think dating is a broad spectrum, and um, I think people misconstrue dating with courtship, and it's like two different things. Um, Dating is basically like the invite to the party. It's the person just inviting you to maybe casually get something to eat, or casually spend time on the phone, or casually go to the park, or casually get a cup of coffee. It doesn't mean that that person's exclusively yours, and it doesn't mean that you're exclusively theirs. I think that people, when they date and they do more than one date, they automatically assume that you guys are dating, and you are in a relationship, and that's not the case. I think that, people skip and they jump, and this is how we have a whole bunch of people dating, or a whole bunch of people in one-sided relationships that just don't work out.
Yeah, I think what the doctor is trying to tell us. We have to date with intentions. We're living in different times. You don't want to just be out here dating just to date, because at the end of the day, the outcome that you are expecting to get, you won't get it. And then on top of that, um, you would just be going through the motion. And I don't know about y'all. I don't like to be in their situation or scenario where you know a relationship is just going through the motion, or the relationship is just one sided. And one thing I have come to realize about uh, relationships in general, especially when you're trying to meet, you know, your person, you got to be intentional. Be intentional um, about the things that you are expecting from him or her. And also, I like the latter part of this definition. You know, when you're in the dating field, you're not everyone that you date. You're not necessarily um, looking, thinking that they're. Well, you definitely want to feel like there is a possibility um, to um, expand to marriage, but often everybody that you date may not have the possibility or the potential to be your person. So you just have to be intentional about what you want and what are you exactly bringing to the relationship. But we want to help y'all today. We're going to help y'all with uh, some things to consider when dating to marry. My first bullet point I wrote down here is intentions. Be clear about your standards and what you want in a partner. And that's just kind of what I just shared with you guys. You have to be intentional. Being intentional when it comes to relationship just means that you're being direct. Let me say that. Being direct about what you want, what you're expecting, and often what you are desiring to get, and also the outcome that you desire to get. And a lot of times uh, we don't address certain stuff because some of us just ain't looking for love. Some of us thought we was looking for love, but we really were looking for lust. And some of y'all will catch that on the way home. But yeah, be intentional. Do you have something to say about that, doctor?
I feel like also be intentional with what you can give.
Oh,
Like, you are intentional of what you want, what you're seeking, what you want the outcome to be, where you want to be in 5 years with this person, where you and this person financially want to be. You want to have kids in 3 years. You want to be married in 2 years. But what can you actually give to make those desires and those dreams come to play?
okay. Yeah, that's good right there. That's good. That's good, doctor. Yeah, being it's especially being intentional has a very broad meaning. There's a lot that could
Mm-hmm.
actually go along with that, and these are very detailed and very uh, in depth questions that you should be asking anybody who want to
Mm-hmm.
date you. Now, we're not talking about the people who not intentional about dating. I'm talking about the people who really, really earnestly desire to be married. We're saying to you that you have to go into the in-depth conversations that sometimes people kind of, in our pursuit to marry, we deal with surface uh, situations, and a lot of times when you deal with surface uh, stuff, you deal with surface things that involve getting to know somebody. You don't really truly get to know a person and get to know their intentions as well. My other bullet point is topics. Discuss deep topics like finances and life goals. Hey, this see, that's deep topics. You have to go into those deep conversations that really allow you to get to know someone. A lot of times in our quest to get to know someone, we don't want to ask tough questions. And sometimes even when you are asking these questions to someone you might be pursuing, it's going to be uncomfortable for them. But you got to communicate that to them. Like, listen, this is not uh, um, this is not your normal routine when you're trying to get to know somebody. You got to let them know, like, listen, I'm intentional about seeking my person. So a lot of my questions towards you, yeah, they're going to be deep. They're going to be, some of them may be challenging. Some of them may be uncomfortable for you to answer. But I need you to answer in order for this relationship or this thing that we're trying to ignite, in order for it to be progressive. Listen, I have to ask you questions. So let them know you're going to be asking tough questions, and you're going to be, some of the topics that you're going to be asking them may be offensive, or you may feel like they're offensive. But this, at the end of the day, you're just a person that's dating with intentional. What you want to say about that, doctor?
um, yes, I agree. Ask important, deep questions, right? But I feel like there are stages to those questions. And I don't feel like you should be on date one and date two asking, so was your mom in your life? Like, I don't feel at that moment. No, I feel like that at that moment you're building a friendship to get to dating. So what comes with a friendship is learning the person and the point of where they're at now, and learning their everyday activities where they're at now, and the tolerance of where they're at now, and what they're seeking now, and what they need by listening and having these conversations, what they're looking for in the now. And then if it aligns, stage two, stage three is when you start asking those questions like, well, how was your upbringing? Mine was like, so don't just ask without a rebuttal. Don't just ask like, well, did you grow up in a foster home? But not explain that you may not know your father because your mom was a single mom. Like, explain back as well. It's a receipt conversation.
Um, One thing I would just hearing you say, doctor, sometimes there are limitations to certain questions at certain moments when you're trying to get to know someone, and you just have to use your discretion and just be reasonable about some of the questions you're asking. A lot of times, uh, people can may have uncertain things that they don't want to address at that moment. And that's fine, and that's okay. But just know you have to really, really pay attention to your person, or the person that you're trying to date, or dating at that time, and just know when to be able to have those terse conversations, because at the end of the day, there's a time for everything, and you want
There's
to
an
make
order
sure
in
that
place.
you want to make sure that your question is a very timely question, and it doesn't cause any bad blood between you and the guy or the woman that you're pursuing at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Compatibility. That's my next bullet point. Compatibility. It is something that most people struggle with, and a lot of times we hear, especially because we're Christians, and all of our content is Christian based. But in the Christian community, a lot of times people we get into this uh, mentality, or there's a notion out there that God sends a person to complete us, and that's I must go ahead and say it up front. That's false. We was already completed through Jesus on the cross. So you don't need a man or woman to complete you, but you do need a man or woman to complement you. And I think that's what this one of my bullet points is pinpointing. You know, compatibility is big when you are dating, because at the end of the day, you need to know. how uh, your partner handle stress? How do they handle conflict? How do they handle certain situations that could be uncomfortable or detrimental to the relationship? And you don't need to be trying to date someone that got a bad anger problem and you got a bad anger problem. They're just pouring gas on the fuel. So you have to ask questions like ask people questions like how do you deal with conflict? That's the only way that you can possibly understand, how do they respond in certain situations, because a lot of times we be dating people and we're not compatible. Somebody has to be the water because when the fire comes, I can't add more fire to the flame. Somebody got to be the more rational one and reasonable one to say, you know what, I'm not going to raise my voice at this time. Or it may be a particular situation where you say, you know what, um, let me handle this way, and we just have to be watchful in those moments. But what you want to add to this about people dating and they're
Compatibility.
not compatible? How does that
I
stress the
think that's
relationship?
I think that's about 99.99% of most couples out here today. I think people base compatibility off of he has a lot of money, he drives a nice car, she has the best BBL body I could possibly find at this moment, and it's not off of anything intellectual, mental, or spiritual. So I feel like with compatibility, it's not just this person looks good, or what most people in society do is what's your zodiac sign, because that whatever this zodiac sign is, um, it's not real. I don't even know. There's no definition for the word zodiac, and your sign, like I don't even know what that is. Like your zodiac sign does not link you to a particular group or genre of people for you to be like, oh, I'm compatible because I was born in July and you was born in December. Like that makes no sense whatsoever. Compatibility is based off of your morals, your goals, your desires, your wants, and your placement. And if it aligns with each other and you guys align together, then now you know that this is somebody that you are compatible with, meaning this is someone that you know if you did get in a relationship with or a marriage with, you know that you guys will work together versus working against each other. And that's what I have to say.
Okay,
Period.
let me go back to my notes. My next bullet point: goals, having common goals and share a vision for the future. Y'all, this is so important because in the Bible, I believe it's Amos 3:22. It says two people can't walk together unless they agree. If
Mm-hmm.
you get into a relationship with someone and you're explaining to the person, listen, here's my goals. Like, okay, I want to be like me and my wife. We want to be married within, a year or so of us dating. And that was one of our goals. Both of us was dating to marry or looking to date to marry, and that was one of our goals. We wanted to be, and that was one of my goals as well. And I believe I expressed that to her. Uh, I want to be married within this certain time frame. So I, discussed it up front. That's something that we have to really be detailed about. Let people know, hey, even if you say you meet a person and you might be getting ready to relocate and live in another state, but you haven't told the person. You you're dialoguing with the person. Y'all have a great conversation, but you never told them that you're about to get ready to move to a different state in 2 months. So you got to check with that person to make sure that this is something he or she gonna be comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, that was your personal goal. Now y'all got to be able to come together and to conclude. Is this going to work? You moving to another state? There's something that needs to be worked out. But goals, having common goals and share a vision. A lot of times when we have relationships, having a vision for the relationship is also um, something that's very, very important. Something that we really need to pay attention to. And when you meeting your person or meeting a guy you're dating, hey, what's your vision? for just your life in general, and make sure that it coincides, or make sure it's going in the same direction as he or she is, and that can often be beneficial to the relationship being progressive and moving forward as well. But what do you think about goals?
I think goals are very important, especially like when you're seeking to date to, a long term relationship. I think that goals can change along the dynamic of the relationship, but you also, with your goals changing, it can change separately and it can change together. You still have to be aligned. I think that setting goals are fine. Like when you're dating or when you're seeking to date, I feel like you should be open with your goals
Okay.
because you should be open to receiving different input, different feedback from people. You giving different. It's kind of like an open speed dating, if that makes any sense. Like your goal at that moment is to date. You're not dating. Dating is separate. When you're dating one person, you're dating. You're dating each other, which aligns in courtship. So I feel like when you're dating, your goals definitely should be aligned with each other, because now you're saying exclusively, this is my person that I am seeking to build with. But when you're going on dates, I don't feel you should have a together goal. I feel like if your goals are your goals, like you said, if one of your goals is moving out of state in 2 months and you're just going on dates, then that information is really not exclusive to the person, because you're going on just dates, multiple dates. You don't see a clear connection with that person to just exclusively date, and that person doesn't with you. You guys are just going on dates to see if you're going to get there.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Well, I think what I'm hearing you say, we have to distinguish um, about people who are eligible
Yes.
to date you. Let me say,
give a word.
Because everybody who want to date you is not eligible or available. And let me say that. And it's so important to draw a line between friends and people who actually that you can possibly have the potential to date or looking forward to date. So you have to separate that and make sure you are communicating that to the people that you put in the friend zone and the people that you actually genuinely have intentions to date, and they can possibly be your spouse one day. Um, it's so important uh, to know that and to address that and to really evaluate that and make sure that there is communication between all these parties, so there won't be no confusion. Because where there's confusion, there's no progress. So let me say that up front. And my last one I got self work. Do your own inner work and be okay if things don't work out. Self work. Let me say this up front now. This is a good one, because when you meet people, all of us have insecurities, things that we battle with in our minds, in our bodies, and sometimes we don't address those things. And when you don't address certain particular things in your life, they can linger, and they can have a tremendous effect on people who you are looking forward to a possibility dating, or someone you may be even dating at the time. It's so important that you don't allow your trauma, your childhood upbringing, things that you have experienced that have been detrimental to your life. You don't allow this stuff to linger in a relationship in a way where it affects it. You don't met your person, and y'all dating 4, 5, 6 months. I'm pretty sure he's going to start picking up on some things that you struggle with, and those are key times, to maybe even have a conversation. Like, Or maybe if he's really paying attention or she is paying attention to you, she can see how you respond to certain situations. And maybe that can be a door that you can use to just open up that conversation. So you just have to really pay attention to your person, pay attention to someone that whoever you are looking to date, and make sure that you're not using your what use. And everybody don't have this, but emotional intelligence is very big. Like me and my wife, I know when she's up and down. I know when she's not feeling good. I know I know her normal stuff. So when she, anytime that she's not, operating in her normal self, a lot of times I ask her, sweetheart, are you okay? And sometimes that leads to her, being vulnerable and opening up to me as well. So, what you thinking about that self worth?
Self work is really, really, really important, but the key word to that is self work. So that means that do not dump all of your insecurities, all of your childhood drama, all of the things that you've been through in your last relationship on the person that you are dating now. Because remember, you're not in a relationship, the person that you are dating. Self work means that it is a responsibility in the job that you take on solely to go ahead and work on your inner self for your self peace and healing. Make sure you do that before you say you want to go ahead and date someone. Because what can typically happen is you're telling a person you want marriage, you want kids, you want all of these things, and this person has done the work and now they're ready for this. And you haven't done the work, and you're dating this person, and let's say it's 2 years down the line, and you have a flashback or you have a moment in time, right? And this person is not aware of any of these moments and times that you have, and now you just renege on the whole plan of marriage and kids and being together. No offense, you've now wasted 2 years of this person's time that this person cannot get back, and that's not fair. And what happens is you now create a trauma in them, and then when the new person gets them, that new person has to deal with that trauma. Not fair. Do your own self work.
Yeah, it is so important too, especially in the black community. Um, Majority of us need some type of uh, counseling, therapy, group sessions to talk about some of that trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so important to acknowledge that, hey, I need help. It's nothing wrong
Yes.
with, I need help. I need to talk about this. And a lot of times, people suffer in silence. And that's a big thing in the black community. We have some type of stigma against, seeking therapy and counseling and things. And a lot of times, the best uh, the best thing to do is to get help and uh, don't dump, like my wife referred to, don't dump all your emotional stress and depression and all that on your partner, because sometimes they can get overwhelming. We're human as well. We have limitations.
Mm-hmm.
Seek a professional help, and in your course in seeking professional help, you can find help that make you a better
Mm-hmm.
person. So even when you get into a relationship with people, everybody need help. It's so important that we pay attention to our partners, pay attention to those conversations, even leading up to dating. Even if, just say, when you're in the dating process and you guys are having conversation, and y'all are talking about a specific topic, and you can kind of sense that the topic is very, it disturbs.
It's
Um,
triggering to
yeah, and
you.
it's triggering and things of that nature. Yeah, be honest with with your person. Like, listen, I think you need some help in this area, and I think you need to seek some professional help. And they may even get offended, but they later on down the line they will appreciate you for that, because sometimes people
Mm-hmm.
just uh, just really they. And let me say this: people often do really want to talk about stuff, but they can't. They don't trust nobody enough to have those. uh, difficult conversations with. I just thank God over my time that people actually call me. They see enough of my life to call me and ask me for
Mm-hmm.
advice about relationship matters and other difficult things that are just sometimes so difficult to talk about. We just have to be comfortable enough to know, look, I still got to work on myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me and my wife, we have an awesome, awesome relationship, but guess what? Both of us
We're still
still need
human.
individual work. And like you say, we're still human. We
Yeah.
still have to evaluate ourselves daily and improve on certain things that can help this relationship grow up and
Mm-hmm.
not blow up. Because it's
Mm-hmm.
easy to blow up. And let me say this too. Y'all stop being so envious of people who done been married 30, 20, 50 years, because sometimes people be married 10, 15 years with 1 year of growth. We can't talk about you can't talk about the 29 years of growth. We can only talk about the 1 year of growth. So y'all be careful. Relationships are very, very difficult. They're very challenging. And if you don't really monitor your relationship and if you're seeking somebody that you really really like, and y'all maybe even talking about marriage or discussing marriage, take that serious. Don't take that light. That's something that can possibly be a season in your life where there's no promotion, there's nothing growing, there's nothing changing, there's nothing evolving, and you can just be on that. You can be on that hamster wheel. Y'all know that hamster don't be going nowhere, but he think he going somewhere, but he not. He's just going around and around. And that's how dating can be at times. Dating can be so difficult because a lot of people think that their significant other is on the other side of that fence. And a lot of times I have come to realize that you meet people in certain parts of your life,
Mm-hmm.
and those people that you meet most of the time have the same mentality as you. So just
You
monitor
know,
that.
the majority of the majority of my dating, um, I feel like I have always dated the assignment.
Okay.
So I have always dated the person that used, and I'm not, let me not say used in a way of in a negative way, but they have always used me as their counselor or their therapist.
Okay.
And in the mix of doing that, I have dated the assignment where I'm walking you through healing, but I have yet to have a moment to see what healing have looked like for me.
Okay.
Right? So when I say do the self work, that means that if you're dating someone and it is you find that that person is always coming to you with a trauma or coming to you with a trigger, and they're seeking you for help and they're seeking you to give the answer, right? And not to say that you can't, because you can, but your dating partner and your spouse are not your unpaid therapist. There's a reason why there's therapists, and there's a reason why they do get paid what they get paid an hour. Trust me, I know. I done paid some of them.
Amen.
Amen. And it is not fair for you to become their unpaid therapist, but yet you don't ever have a breathing moment to see what healing looks like for you. Some of the things that they're bringing to you could be triggering for you. It could bring things up that may occur within you, but you never get a breath of fresh air to express that or to see what healing looks like for you. You're just focused on this person's healing, and you feel like, and I feel like a lot of people, again, in the Black community, women do this, like, oh, I'm his ride or die. I'm sorry, I'm not dying with you. I'm not finna ride. I'm not gonna ride out with you, and we gonna die together. Like, why both of us gotta die from taking a ride? I just want to
Yeah.
know. Like, I'm not gonna do that. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't have to be your ride or die and be emotionally damaged and emotionally traumatized and emotionally drained without working on myself, and that person taking a breath and saying, dang, like I done unloaded a whole lot on you. Let me take a step back. Let's talk about you. Like there's times where I unload on my husband and then I'll be like, dang, I just gave you a whole mouthful. All right, come on. What you got to give me? It's not okay to be one-sided. That's not a relationship. Like you've now, and a lot of black women say this, oh, I restored him, I trained him up for the next woman. No, you was his free therapist. That's what you was. And you healed him to be a better man for the next woman because you didn't open your mouth and say, this is enough for me today. And at some point, I need you to seek a professional and I need to unload as well. So I feel like, make sure you see, like, there are trigger points with things like that. So make sure you're like seeing the trigger warnings and make sure you're looking to see, like, this person could be a good relationship for me because we're both a listening ear. It's not one-sided. Like you're not his ride or die and you're not you're not her ride or die and you're not training her up to be a healed woman for the next man and vice versa. Like it should be a community of communication amongst the both of you.
Okay.
That's what I feel.
Yeah. One word I heard my wife say was balance.
Come on.
In any relationship, you have to have balance.
See, I said it the long way.
A lot of times, like I may come home and I might notice that the dishes are not washed. That's not a time for me to attack my wife. That's a time for me to go in there and wash the dishes or whatever situation it is. The house might be a little dirty or something of that nature. You don't when you're especially like we're married, we don't have a set role. A lot of times we do have set roles, but we don't. Um, if I come in and I see that, okay, my wife is busy, she's at work, or she maybe couldn't get to the dishes at that time, hey, I come in, I wash the dishes, take out the trash, clean the bathroom, whatever her things that she does when she's at the house, her normal routine, her normal role. That's not her normal role all the time because I can come in and like I said, I'll come in and do some of her roles. So that keeps us balanced. That keeps us.
Because honestly, if we was just dating, right, we wouldn't be living together. So who will be washing them dishes? You. And trash. Like I know they say it's a woman's job to clean and wash the dishes, to keep the house. It's a man's job to fix on a car or take out the trash, right? But if you are dating someone, you're not living together, right? You're dating someone and you have a car and your car breaks down. Ma'am, who's fixing your car, ma'am? Like, where did you go before you started dating him to fix your car? Did the trash pile up in your house or did you tie it and take that trash out? Like, don't just assume, oh, now because you're the man in my life, here, you take on this. And you're the woman, you take on this. Like, don't just give people like roles and mentally like give people roles. Like I know he's saying trash and we're saying dishes, but mentally don't give people roles that they have to play and you never ask them if they're equipped to take on that role or if they even wanted to try out for that role.
Yeah. And one thing I heard you allude to is just having balance when it comes to just pouring out, your day to your spouse. Yes, you and everything that you're discussing with them can be legitimate, but they're coming home with stress from their job, from their boss. They're coming home with stress from the world and things of that nature. So it's very important to pay attention. Ask them, pull them to ask them, like, are you doing anything? Can we talk? Look for certain signs to implement all of your stressful situations that occur throughout your day or possibly throughout your week, and just allow them that time to make sure that they are mentally stable enough to hear you and listen to you and be able to help you in those moments.
Half the time, y'all need a prayer closet.
Oh, that's what it is? Just
no, for real. Half the time, you need a prayer closet. Like, even if it's not a physical closet, you need a moment by yourself to write it out in your journal, to pray it out, to worship it out, and then When you finish with that, you unloaded like the you unloaded the anger, the deep part of it out. You unloaded it out like, and you unloaded it to the person that said, bear it on me. And you've given it to him, and now you're at a clearer mindset. Even though you still gonna talk about it, or you might still be bothered, you're not angry, you're not upset. And then when you go to your spouse, the conversation and dynamic is totally different. You guys are versatile. Like you're having a conversation about it, and 9 times out of 10 you're explaining something that happens, and then your spouse is saying, oh, okay, I can see it from your point of view, I can see it from this person's point of view, and giving you a resolution to what the situation is, versus you sitting there dumping it out for 15, 25 minutes with anger. And now now your spouse has taken on your anger, and they don't even want to hear you talk. You sound like Kermit, like 5 minutes into what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so important just be timely in certain topics and discussions, and just make sure that you can be effective where there may be an infection. So, with that being said, we just thank you all for joining in. Oh, we are so glad to be with you all. And we got more content. We probably even make a part 2 to this. I believe we will. So come back with a part 2. So you all hit that notification bell, like, comment, and share, so you guys can receive. Yep, and subscribe as well, so you all can get the notification. So when we do content right here on this channel. So, but we thank you all. God bless you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful, and wonderful, wonderful day.